chided and tried to delay the moment when they'd be forced to accompany their offspring into the still cold sea, even the hottest of August days being insufficient to warm such a stubbornly chill stretch of ocean. "Best go and see what's happening," she said to no one in particular. There was a good chance that the coastguard would tow the boat into the newly built marina just beyond the old town. She might just head out there, get herself a nice cool drink, and sit under one of those pink stripy umbrellas on the clubhouse terrace and wait to see what came ashore. Rina had quite a long wait, but she didn't mind. Sitting in the shade with her sunglasses on and her sandals off, she observed the action in company with a dozen more who had also noticed it and were exchanging enthusiastic speculation. Rina listened. The crowd at the marina was an interesting mix of locals and regular visitors. Boat people who ran charters or fished or practically lived aboard floating homes that ranged in fit up from ramshackle wooden vessels to luxury surpassing the average upmarket semi. Unlike some marinas further along the coast, and dedicated to the pleasures of the summer crowd, Frampton's boat club was not a particularly snobbish affair, and she knew, at least by sight, all of those who presently shared her vantage point. "Heart attack, I betcha," someone said. "Owner went out on his own and popped his clogs." "Steering problem? I know it doesn't seem likely, a boat of that class shouldn't go wrong, but got a man aboard, finally." Rina sipped her drink, then nodded thoughtfully. A heart attack seemed like a possible explanation, she thought, or at least a partial one. It didn't explain why the boat was sailing in circles. Well, she was quite comfortable here and had nothing pressing this afternoon, so she would just have to wait and see. She borrowed a pair of binoculars and took a closer look at the activity on board. A second man had joined the first, and the boat, no longer under power, bobbed gently in the calm water, and Rina could get a good view of men gesticulating, one coming back to the rail to shout something to the coastguard. Something very wrong, Rina thought. Something very wrong indeed. She handed the binoculars back to their owner with a word of thanks. "Bit of excitement on a summer afternoon?" the man said with a smile. "Certainly is," Rina agreed, and settled more comfortably in her chair to enjoy the rest of the show. "You look cool and relaxed." Rina smiled at the familiar voice. "Oh, I am," she said. "Pull up a seat and I'll order you a drink." Mac laughed and sat down. He was in his shirt sleeves this afternoon, his jacket dangling from one finger. A new jacket, Rina noted. Linen, and rather expensive looking. She guessed Miriam must have chosen it for him, and nodded approval. Miriam had been very good for D.I. McGregor, and he was taking much more care of himself, remembering to shave most days, and actually visiting the barber on a regular basis, instead of making do with a pair of nail scissors and the bathroom mirror. He looked less exhausted, too, the blue-grey eyes no longer so deeply shadowed. Rina was very gratified, knowing that while Miriam had worked her magic, his recovery from the effects of grief, followed by massive consumption of alcohol, was also due to Rina and her mad little household, and the very real affection in which Mac was held, and which, in full measure, he returned. A waiter appeared magically at her shoulder, and she ordered Mac a Pimm's and a second for herself. Mac raised an eyebrow. "I am on duty, you know." Rina waved airily. "Pimm's has too much fruit in it to count as alcoholic," she said. "Anyway, it's not as if you've got to drive anywhere. Nowhere in Frampton is more than a 10-minute walk." He laughed. "Too true," he agreed. "And if I do have to follow the body back to the mortuary, Andy can drive me. He should be here in a minute or so." Rina sat bolt upright. "Ah," she said. "From the boat?" "From the boat," Mac agreed. He smiled at her. "I might have known you'd be here. I don't think anything can happen in Frampton without Rina Martin knowing about it first." Mockingly, she tapped the side of her nose.